are in the house. These two people have a zest for life, and it's like contagious. I love being around Smith and Gunnels and their zest for life. Would you say you embody that quality, Maggie?
Wait, say it again.
The zest for life. You love to live.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes
you love to be around people.
I love people. I mean, I am a cranky bunch sometimes.
Really? I've never seen that. I've never seen the cranky Maggie Gunnels.
Seriously?
No.
Trust me, I could name a few.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, I'm too much of a gentleman to say I've actually seen it, so I will not say I've seen
it. I've never seen cranky Maggie Gunnels.
Oh, it exists.
Okay. What is that when the deals aren't going your way? Don't the deals always go your way?
It's usually not business related though, right?
I mean,
at least with me,
not?
when I get cranky, it's usually not business related. It's something else.
Extraordinarily competitive.
Okay.
So
same for him.
Not me.
What?
Not me. You got the wrong person.
You are not competitive.
Oh, he's being sarcastic.
No,
he's being very sarcastic.
Okay.
He's very competitive.
I was like, wait a second.
He's very competitive.
No.
Particularly with our daughters.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, they're competitive.
Oh, we are competitive
with them.
Oh yeah, big time.
Same with my family. We're crazy.
We got like a fitness app.
Yeah.
And we
You share it?
And we share it.
Yeah,
and,
I love that.
And
my
if
brother
they
and I do
beat
that.
their like goal than mine, I got to get an extra couple more.
That's why healthy. That's healthy competitive.
I
love that.
That is healthy competitive.
That's super. Yeah,
that's what you want.
Yeah, we're like really competitive. My family's super competitive.
I get that last pizza kind of competitive.
Because she has, is it 4 sisters?
4 sisters.
She has 4 sisters.
And they're all very competitive as well. So we did like tennis. Like I know you can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, I love the racket sports.
Yeah, we are incredibly competitive when it comes to tennis in my family. I just got bit by the tennis bug. That is this year. That is a fantastic sport.
Congratulations. It's a great one.
Yes.
Quick 20-mile ride this morning, and I passed the tennis courts at the lake.
Yeah. Which ones?
Oh, the main beach.
Yeah.
And this was at about 7:15. It was about 7:15 in the morning. Every single one of the tennis courts had people in them.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
And they were all doing pickleball.
Oh, was it pickleball? Yeah, there's a lot of people that like the pickleball at the lake, or I guess just everywhere. That's like
pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America.
Yeah. I haven't quite done it yet, but I'm sure I will.
Oh, it's a great way to meet clients.
Today's show is going to be about Lake Monticello and stuff, but we've been there since 1987. I mean, there's so much stuff to do there, right? I bike and I can do it safely, right? You play tennis. There's at least 2, right? 2 tennis courts.
There's several.
There's
one at the main gate and then at Lafayette.
Lafayette, yeah. So you can do that. You can swim. You can boat. Play golf.
Lake Monticello's hot.
Yeah, there's actually this Saturday. There's going to be a women's tennis tournament raising money. I need to go read my notes what it's for, but I will be. I am doing something for it.
When he does the run-in, you can go ahead and check it.
Yeah, we should get rocking and rolling. We'll turn the cameras on. Judah, we're in your hands.
Is it not even on yet?
No, we haven't started yet. We just got distracted by conversation.
Has it been on?
Oh, the mics are on.
The mics are on.
People can hear us. Chad Wood's listening, Mr. DL's listening, Jeff Camrath's listening, Katie Pearl, Ahmad Hawkins,
so they heard me say
Nora
I was
Gaffney.
So the mics are hot. Don't say anything.
Your colleague Patty Rowe, Andre Xavier, Bellamy Brown, Carol Thorpe, Valerie Young is watching. The agents are all over the show.
Yes.
Spencer Pushard, Seth Liskey, who's crushing it in Stanton with real estate investment.
Yay.
Woody Fincham, Jamie Turner, Gordonsville's finest. J-Dubs, let's rock and roll when you're ready.
Thanks, Woody, for your help, man.
Woody lives. Oops.
Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in downtown Charlottesville on the I Love Seaville Network on a show that has become the water cooler of chatter for the real estate community in Central Virginia. Today's program is truly dynamic, so you, the viewer and listener, can offer discussion, questions, shape the conversation, and just have fun. I have a feeling today's show is going to be extremely high energy. I said this before the cameras went on. The only people in this world that are, well, one of the few people in this world that are keeping up energy-wise is the two people we have on set right now. Judah Wickower, let's go to the studio camera. And two people that have a zest for life, Keith Smith and Maggie Gunnels, friends and just people I love working alongside. Amigos, how are you today on a Monday morning?
Thank you. That was so kind. I
sincerely mean it.
Well, the feeling is mutual, and I am doing so well this Monday morning. How are you, Keith Smith?
You know, my thought immediately went to keep this. I have to keep this energy up, and I'm 20 plus years older than you guys, so that makes it even harder. But
But you're a millennial at heart.
Pardon?
You're a millennial at heart.
I am. I'm a 60-something-year-old millennial. I love millennials. So again, there's like 3 or 4 people in the world that don't know you. Do a quick intro to you and your team, and then we'll get on to Lake Monticello because we're excited.
Austin Stone giving you props already.
Oh, Austin's I've known Austin forever. And his mom, Kim, she's awesome. Austin bought a house with me this year, actually.
Congratulations, Austin Stone.
Yes, he did. So my name's Maggie Gunnels. I have a team, the Gunnels Group, and we service clients in Central Virginia selling and buying real estate.
She loves tennis. She loves hot yoga.
Hot yoga. Well, yoga is like
your jam?
It's up there with my children.
Right. Okay, wow, there we go. Okay. She's a huge yoga evangelist over there.
So for us yogiism,
yes.
yoga.
Yogis.
What's the difference between hot yoga? Is it as simple as that one is in the heated space and one is not? What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly.
Good job, Keith Smith.
So hot yoga is awesome. Well, okay. I am getting
I was going to say something silly like only hot women go there, but anyway.
That is true. There are some gorgeous women
that would get me into trouble, so I will not say that.
There are actually the group of women. That's why I love it so much. Is the group of women that go there are just incredible community.
Oh, cool.
But hot, yes. Sometimes temperatures as high as 115 degrees.
Oh wow!
And have I seen it higher? Maybe a hair higher. Potentially.
So that's like doing yoga in a sauna.
It is, and it's so good for your body.
Really?
And there's a particular method that you do called 26 and 2 or the Bikram method, and that's done in really high temperatures. And so that's where my passion lies.
You know, you got some amazing realtors that do hot yoga.
A ton of realtors.
You should highlight. I mean, Maggie Gunnels is one of the best of the best. Does hot yoga, but are there not a lot?
Yes. Yes.
Jay does.
Wait, who?
Jay Reeves.
Okay, so I don't actually.
Maybe it's on a different class schedule.
Like a woman's?
He doesn't. I don't. I haven't. Well, he probably does. There are so many that.
So many classes.
Yes. So many people.
So it's one of the great things about what we do for a living.
Yes.
Because you can organize your day, because you do it in the middle of the day, right?
I'll do it anytime
that
is
like
available.
Double and triple dips.
Sometimes, yes. Right. Sometimes, exactly. Last week, yes, I did a brookie, and then I did a Diane. So all the people that know hot yoga know that's a lot of really good vibes.
So I do need to kick off with a PSA.
Okay.
Our dear friend and friend of the show, Neil Williamson, has asked us to do this.
Neil Williamson?
Asked me to do this.
He's watching right now?
Yeah, so tonight he's doing the NBC 29 Free Enterprise Forum, Albemarle County Forum. So it's going to be tonight at 7 p.m. at the Hillsdale Center.
Hillsdale Conference Center.
That's very much so, which we talked about before is getting used. He texted me a link, but I asked him to send it to you.
Okay.
So that you could post it, because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So look, folks, this is a great opportunity to
get to know your supervisor.
Get to know your supervisors and the candidates, and Neil does a wonderful job, and so get a chance to watch it. It's at 7 p.m., and you can watch it via Zoom, and there will be a link posted here shortly.
There you go.
Thank you,
NBC
Neil.
29 and Neil Williamson. I like it. You guys are going toe-to-toe with Monday Night Football. An interesting choice for scheduling right there. But it's an opportunity for you guys to get to know your candidates. Lake Monticello in the spotlight. This neighborhood is red hot. what was once like a number of neighborhoods in Central Virginia, very long from a days on market standpoint, is literally hours, if not a couple of days from a days on market standpoint. Open-ended, Maggie Gunnels, the show is yours. Lake Monticello, anywhere you want to go.
The lake market is very strong right now. Keith and I were looking. Keith always does such good statistics for us that.
Thank you.
And it's super, super helpful. But it amazes me that rates, when we were looking at a graph that
So that'd
showed.
be slide number 1, Judah, please.
The rates are, the price, the average price, sales price is at its highest point over the last few years, and rates are also at their highest point over the last few years. And it really goes back to the fact that we have no inventory whatsoever. And we still have a lot of cash in the market. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, there's a lot of cash in the market. We actually, I'll go ahead and take a look at it real quick while we're talking about how many sales from year to date have been cash. But this slide number 1, what you guys are looking at, so the green line is the median sales price, and the dotted brown line is actually the mortgage rate. And it's interesting, in the last 5 quarters, which I did not expect to see when I did this, Maggie. I really didn't expect to see these numbers or this trend. Look how close it's following the prices, right? It's almost keeping up. The prices and the mortgage rates are keeping up, and you would think it would be the opposite. There would be a little bit of a spread, which just speaks to the fact. To your point, there is no inventory, but this is a pretty interesting statistic. I had it proofed by our good friend, Mr. Woody Fincham.
He's watching right now. We love you, Woody.
He's my neighbor, too.
Big ups, Woody Fincham. 14 homes on the market at the lake, including 3 of my favorites that are currently being offered. 8 Fleetwood Drive,
Yay!
listed by the fabulous Jonah Smith. Also, 6 is a Choctaw Place by Christopher Eagle. And ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget the absolutely fabulous 46 Chippewa Lane.
Yes.
Priced very accurately at
Yes.
$359,900.
Exactly, yes.
So let's talk about that for a second. So Jude, if you wouldn't mind slide 5. So it's 17 if you include new construction. But if you take out, and I want to talk a little bit about active with a kickouts and what that actually means.
And there's 4,300 homes roughly.
4,500.
45.
Sorry, 4,500 lots, roughly 43 and change.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 44 right now.
Okay.
4,000. But there's 3 with active kickouts.
Right.
Right. There's 2 that are paper houses.
Right.
New constructions that haven't been built yet. And 1 is a coming soon, which is not available to actually buy. So the real number, in my opinion, is 11.
It's 11. Woo! 11. That's crazy. And,
that's crazy.
And if you think about it, the 3 active with kickouts, what that means is...
Let's talk about that.
Yes. It's when a home is there's a contract on the house that's for sale, but the people that are buying the home also have a house to sell, and so it's contingent upon the sale of the purchaser's home. And so an active with kickout allows the seller to continue to market the property for sale and potentially kick out a buyer, that first buyer, if they get another contract that is non-contingent that they want to accept.
So how often does that happen?
Well, statistically, it sounds like a decent amount of our market right now that we're seeing. But I don't actually, prior to this market, the last, I would say last 5 years, we didn't see that many active with kickouts. Do you remember?
No. And just to put a little more clarity to that, not that you didn't do a great job, because you did. Generally, what happens is now all of a sudden, so you're selling, right? I'm the buyer's agent on it. I've got to sell another house, right? And then all of a sudden, I come in with another offer. All I'm going to do is remove my contingency, right?
Sometimes, if you can.
9 times out of 10, my experience has been they usually get removed.
They can find a way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You'll find a way because there's no inventory, right? You don't
Right.
want to lose the opportunity, and you'll get a bridge loan. You'll do something to do it. So that's the reason I'm saying those 3 active with kickouts aren't really on the market.
Right. Because it's what are the odds of actually being able to kick out the person? I have seen kickouts enacted, and they've come to fruition where the first person.
It's usually at the lower price point, though, right? Because the buyer can't make it happen for whatever reason.
Yes, like they can't. They actually don't qualify. Yeah. Oftentimes people do qualify buying that second home without selling their first home, but they don't want to take on that risk.
Sure.
and so they'll put that type of clause in a contract to protect and reduce their risk.
So I didn't do the math real quick, but basically if we stick with this 11 number and there's 29 homes pending right now, so basically
it's bananas.
Every house that comes on the market, roughly 2 point something,
right, comes
off the market. So that, that's kind of the absorption rate for all that.
We're talking, this is so crazy to say, if we have 4,400 homes in Lake Monticello.
I would use 44.
Yeah, it's around there. It's right around there.
So that means we have, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We're talking 0.25%.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Of Lake Monticello is on the market right now.
So
0.25%.
Yeah. Of a percent, exactly.
0.25%.
It's
not even a full point.
Right.
0.25%.
So to put it in perspective, historically, like a healthy, balanced market out at Lake Monticello is 1%. So basically, it'd be 40 homes, right, on the market, of 45 homes, or somewhere between 40 and 50 homes. Sorry, my hearing aid's kicking out here. No. Sorry about that, guys.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
It's extremely limited. And so even when you think about when we were in the Great Recession and we had about 200 homes on the market at any given time, that still wasn't a large percentage of a subdivision.
Right.
When you'd hear throughout the rest of the country, half the neighborhood was on the market, or you'd hear about these communities in Arizona or Florida, or these condominiums. The lake has always been a relatively, even in dark times, not, a pretty decent market.
Well, because it has.
Woody Fincham says there's no way Maggie Gunnels is ever cranky. He's not buying that at
Oh,
all.
Woody. Woody's been on the receiving end of my cranky before.
Wait, as a neighbor or as an appraiser? Or all of the above?
Not as a neighbor.
Okay.
Not as a neighbor. No. Woody's awesome.
Woody's the man.
Definitely. We all have different sides to us.
Of course. That's what makes us human.
Exactly. The humanity, the crankiness.
So, did you expect to see over the last 5 quarters that the median sales price and the mortgage rate to kind of match itself, to trend the same way? Did you expect to see that at all?
Yes.
Really?
I've been saying this. Really? I always have been saying that I didn't think that the market was going to go down. I always thought the market would get stronger, and it's because I always wondered where inventory would be coming from, knowing that we had no inventory. And so in that right now we're kind of in like the opposite pendulum of the Great Recession times. So, and I remember even back then they were saying it would take about this time to really catch up into a more healthy market. So, the predictions back then, some of them were actually true.
And some not so much true.
And some not so much true, too. But no, I don't think, I think we're in for it.
Yeah, so, so you're a crystal ball.
And she's got questions coming in for her.
Oh, great. I'll let you answer this one, and then we'll take them from the feed. But your crystal ball, are you seeing that trend line to continue to go up? The last 3 quarters, there was a little bit of a dip in the fourth quarter of 22.
Right.
Not that much, just a little bit.
Yeah, I remember people were, excuse my language, but freaking out a little bit. I
think that's okay. We've used a lot worse.
Okay, good. Me too.
Little ears. It took a bit of a dip. Took a bit of a dip, but not that much. But if you were to kind of connect the 2 points between the 5 quarters back and now, it's pretty a straight, steady climb in valuation, right?
Right.
Do you see that line continuing or dipping down a little bit?
My guess is that we are going to continue in a very similar market that we are in today. The part that kind of blows my mind is, I always call it the summer slowdown. And so we're coming off the summer slowdown, and we are really in a extraordinarily strong market right now. And so I definitely don't think, and it's not like I don't know anybody that has like tons of inventory that's coming to market. It's where I do think people are going to continue to do well is in new construction. I have,
but not in Fluvanna County though.
Okay, so I have a very serious buyer that we're taking out next weekend, and he's coming from Northern Virginia. He's buying a second home. He's in cybersecurity. He does pretty well for himself, and he's I think 3 or 4 years older than me, so early 40s, and he's able to find in Louisa County mineral bumpus, which are I'm just listed a home in mineral. That market out there is
red hot.
bananas.
Give me a high five. We're about ready to do the same thing, and I cannot.
Red hot.
I cannot believe the price points there.
Oh,
dude, wait till you see what $11 billion from Amazon does to Louisa.
And yes, and in fact, I'm so curious. I've had people ask me questions about that, but the mineral thing, I've seen a double wide that I actually flipped like 5 or 6 years ago. I saw it come back to market, and I think it traded in the low 3s.
A double wide in Louisa.
Yeah.
Not on the water. Not like.
Did you hear that, Judah?
I really want to.
You got new
find that
construction
house.
now happening in that little pocket of, but it's not a big production, folks. They're a little bit smaller builders.
but still, some of these builders I was looking at, one right now that we're considering. That my guys, well, I have 2 people considering new construction right now in Louisa. My cybersecurity guy, and then another family from New York right now that's coming down, and they are. I mean, they're looking in places that maybe location-wise, it's just, Louisa's such a huge county.
Massive county.
And it pulls, Fredericksburg, it pulls Richmond, it pulls Charlottesville, it pulls...
Much like Buckingham, it's pretty hard for us to figure out because it has different MLSs and
She's got 2360 Old Apple Grove Road right now.
Yes.
Listed at, what, $399,900?
$399,900.
This is a beautiful house.
It's a beautiful house, and really what's so unique about this property is that it's farm ready. So they have mini horses there. They've had full size horses there before. They've goats, chickens, all sorts of things. Super private. There's high speed internet. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 with ensuite, so 2 master suites, and a home office. So it has a lot to offer.
That's amazing.
It's amazing,
especially at that price point.
And you wouldn't believe how many agents. I mean, my phone has been. It's always off the hook, but this property has been, has been blowing my mind. We even had an open house this weekend, and even considering the weather, I was a little bit like, maybe we should just push it another week or something.
But it was off the chain.
It was so busy.
Yeah.
So busy. And so, we'll see people. I don't have any offers yet, but I have had a lot of people inquire about like serious conversation talk, like what's an ideal closing date, things like that. Showing it really well. My people love it. Those
asking
types
the
of
right questions.
Asking all the right questions. So really positive feedback. But it just blows my mind that market is the strength that it has right now. It's to see double wides trading in the 3s, to see just the amount of strength in that market, because it pulls from so many different regions and so many job centers. And so right now I have 2 people looking at new construction, and they actually can get as low as like $350 up to about $450, a pretty decent little rancher, maybe even with a garage in that price point in Louisa. But it's pieces of land that builders have bought that they were able to get a steal on the land because of the location. Perhaps it's not the most.
And they're more of these traditional developments where they're along a state road and they just break them up into 2 because Louisa County
is very open-minded.
You still can do that. That's still on the books, right? Where in Fluvanna, not so much. So you can break them into 2-acre lots all the way down there. And it's interesting because I have a resale coming up there.
Really?
Actually.
In mineral?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the struggle is we're going to be competing against new construction. When is the last time you saw that happen?
Right. No, right. It's like that's kind of like, it doesn't even make any sense. No, but I bet you're going to do so well in the market because
That's because Yona's doing it.
Well, she's an exceptional person.
Oh, she is. Everyone says it.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. My mom has always said that. I remember that from the very beginning of selling real estate. Oh, I love Yona. Yona's just so wonderful. But anyways.
This is where Keith says, I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Yona. And then Keith goes,
it's true.
That's what you normally say, right?
You spent too much time.
I know.
Wait, I missed it. Tell me.
This is what Keith says. Keith, I like to finish his sentences. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Yona, and then Keith makes a joke, because one of his skills is joke.
Yeah.
Me on the other hand, Keith talking about himself.
Oh, because Keith has that he's self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating.
Yes.
I know. It makes him very likable.
Human.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of your talents.
Yes. absolutely. And Yona's, because she really...
he's never asked me if it was okay to finish my sentences. He's never asked me that question. Just so that you know, we're almost 550 freaking shows, and he's never asked me, hey, Keith, is it okay if I finish the sentences?
Look, Jerry, did you just finish his sentence?
I did.
Yeah, he does it all the time.
Okay, so I didn't even catch it because I didn't even notice that was what was happening because that's me.
It's a thing.
And so we spent too much time together. This is a question for both you guys.
I can't even tell my half a dozen dad jokes anymore because
he knows them.
Maggie, the moment I think of them, the moment I think of them,
I steal the punchline.
He just runs with it.
This is for the pros from Timmy McDaniel's got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Jerry brings up the Amazon investment. What's the impact it's going to have on Louisa? I'll set the stage and then pass it to you guys. $11 billion, billion with a B, coming to Louisa County from Amazon.
What kind of jobs are they bringing? What is the situation?
I can give you a little background, then get out of your way, Keith. Maggie, get out of your way. I talked to a board of supervisor off the record, and they're anticipating between 800 and 1,200 direct and indirect new jobs.
Wow.
800 to 1,200.
Wow.
Big money jobs.
Does not include the construction jobs.
Does not include the construction jobs. Does not include the construction jobs.
I love that. I mean, I understand people's concerns of Northern Virginia. It's where I'm from, and it's, I remember where we rode horses is now townhomes, and it's like honestly a little heartbreaking, truly. But
change is going to happen.
Change is going to happen, and sometimes change is a good thing. And if you lean into it in the proper way, then you can create beautiful things you can have a greater impact for more people in a positive way. It's just how you do it. And so I don't know. I would love to see Louisa to do something thoughtful with this opportunity that they have.
I think and this is just one man's opinion, you guys are the pros. I just learned from you guys. I think Spring Creek is going to be one of the hottest freaking neighborhoods in Central Virginia.
It's bigger than that. It's bigger than Spring Creek.
You say all of Louisa is what you're saying.
No.
What are you going to say?
No, it's going to be the Ferncliff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you got my wheels turning right now.
So she wants to go buy up a bunch of land over there, don't you?
I've always wanted to buy land over there. And
good luck.
I'm thinking of never mind.
Good luck.
Why you say good luck?
Yeah, because he knows it's
there's people already
sniffing around. I know a few people.
So here's what Louisa did right. So I've been involved with trying to bring water for 35 years.
Right, I was like...
Up to Zion's Crossroads.
Right.
About as old as you are. So all the way to that. So look, this is what Louisa has done right. Louisa has a water facility being built in Ferncliff. They're part of the JRWA, James River Water Authority, which is partnership with our county, Fluvanna County, to go ahead and do that. It's been a little bit on hold for a while because there's been a withdrawal permit problem. How you do that and not do an historical analysis is beyond me. But they are teeing themselves up because it's going to take years to get that facility built.
Yeah.
And they're
to bring the water in
they're timing this right so that the water will come up to Ferncliff and Zion's Crossroads about the same time. Now, this facility is being built somewhere closer to, help me out, Jerry, by Lake Anna, right?
The Amazon facility.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's 2 campuses being built in Louisa with Amazon. But that's right. One of them is that.
And then
one is near...
In fact, I'll give you the exact from the county website. Why don't I look that up?
But while you're doing that, if it's somewhere, it's going to be on this side of Lake Anna, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a second facility, which I cannot remember is, but the travel time from Ferncliff and Zion's Crossroads to there, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's not that long of a distance.
Right.
So you're going to see that, and that stuff is going to start teeing up because they're going to need to house 800 to 1,200 new employees because they're not going to be existing county folks, I think.
No.
I think these are going to be outside.
These are incremental citizens new to the area.
Yeah.
These are going to be new to the area. And I don't think that they're necessarily all hitting Louisa. I think a lot of them will hit the Albemarle side of Louisa.
You can...
So that office idea you had for the Pantops section.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant idea because that's right on the cusp of Louisa.
Even though we're supposed to talk about Lake Monticello today, let's talk about Spring Creek.
I love
They have the ability to build 600 more houses there.
That's bananas.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I do think, I agree with you. I
think it's more than that, but it's at least 600.
Is there a Spring Creek? Does anyone set up a sales office in Spring Creek?
No, so the way Spring Creek, Dice Hammer, who's the owner of it.
Right.
The way Dice does it is you as a developer buy sections of it. So the remaining 600 units, it hasn't been built yet. It's raw land, right? And so what happens is the three of us want to get together and we want to buy a section of it. We buy a section of it. It's very smartly done. So we take on the risk of development. We take on the risk of putting the lots in there. We take on the risk to do that. You just pay Dice Hammer a certain amount of money, and then that's their section. And then Stanley Martin Homes gets another section, and so forth and so on. That's how that works.
Dice Hammer, guys.
It's a unique configuration.
The man's got some vision. You should put Dice Hammer into perspective, Keith. You know Dice Hammer well.
I bought the acres.
Really?
I bought from Dice.
I was supposed to say, didn't he do the lake too, or partially do the lake, or Massanutten?
No.
Dice Hammer took over Massanutten.
Yeah.
So at the lake, he took over certain parcels, and if you remember, the acres at Lake Monticello was actually an industrial, supposed to be an airport.
What?
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So in 1968,
I learn something new every day.
At 19,
that's a good little thing I get to put back there.
That just tells me I've been around too long. So 1968, 1969, when Lake Monticello was designed, it was designed as a vacation community out of Northern Virginia.
Yeah, my grandparents.
So the acres was an actual airstrip. It was set up to be an airport, so people would fly their planes in. And of course, it never happened.
Yeah.
And then I bought it and did 150 1-acre lots.
So cool. I did not realize that. That's amazing.
Do you remember the farm there that used to be there? Oh, yeah. Used to be a farm, a silo. I wanted to do a roundabout around an old silo, and the lake wouldn't let me do it.
So the silo got taken down?
I had to take it down, yeah.
What?
Comments are coming in fast. First, let's get to...
Sorry, I went off on
Woody Fitcham. He says...
No, I love it.
Woody Fitcham has given you some insight. I'm going to say this again. I think Spring Creek is going to be the hottest neighborhood in Central Virginia.
Yeah, I remember... Well, sorry.
Woody Fitcham says, guys, we have been bonkers busy in Spring Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And then he also says investors have been eyeing that part of the county for a long while.
Yeah.
Right.
This is coming. Logan Wells Claylo's watching the program. We love when you watch the show, Logan. Johnny Ornalis, owner of El Mariachi at Zion's Crossroads.
Yummy, I love that
watching
place.
the program, shared the show.
So easy to pay.
El Mariachi is going to mint money. They're already doing it. Wait till $11 billion comes to Louisa. This has come in from Spencer. He says, Lowe's, Walmart, when Lowe's and Walmart come to a county, everyone should take immediate notice. Then he goes, $11 billion from Amazon. What does the panel think Louisa County is going to look like 10 years from now?
I know, that's
demographic-wise is what he's asking.
Well, I would think these new jobs are probably...
High dollar jobs.
I don't, younger, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. So that money, that part helps then. So with, certain things, school, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how one looks at it, it's going to be Louisa is going to be the same trend as Fluvanna, as Charlottesville, Albemarle, Greene, and pretty much all the jurisdictions that are around us. That you're going to get this big separation, right? Because it's just the price is just going to get driven up, in my opinion, unless more affordable homes are allowed to be built. Right. It's just going to be increased in cost. I mean, we look at it, Lake Monticello, right? My God, we're at 300. The median sales price in Lake Monticello right now at this quarter is $350,000.
Never. I remember.
Would you ever think that was?
Dude, I remember when the lake,
No.
when I bought the villas, the only this was in 2007, 2008. I was considering Lake Monticello, and the only reason I didn't do Lake Monticello and did the villas
Your
instead...
agent.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it was because I was still in like the nightlife game.
Yeah.
Close up places down.
That's a tough drive.
It was a tough drive, and I wanted to be by downtown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Tough drive after a couple of cocktails.
Yeah, right. So that's why. But
actually, not a tough drive. But
the reason I was looking at the house that I was looking at was like $160. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a backyard and a fence.
Yeah.
I think I saw that house last time, and it was at $390.
It's crazy.
It's crazy what's going on here.
So let me put it in perspective. If you were to buy a house now at $350, excuse me, if you would have bought a house 8 quarters ago, so it's 2 years ago, at $267, that was the median sales price in the fourth quarter of 21 at Lake Monticello. Now it's $350. You gained 31%.
It's crazy.
31% in 2 years.
Right. That's amazing.
But that's not going to continue, though.
You don't think so?
I do not see.
I know how.
I do not see.
Why do you say that? And then I'm curious of Maggie's take on that. Kevin Yancey, we'll get to your comment here in a matter of moments. Viewers and listeners, we'll get to your comments in a matter of moments. Why do you say that, Keith?
I just think we're going to balance more into a normal 5 or 6 or 7%, because if you take a look at what we did since the third quarter of 2022 to now, we're about 6%.
Okay.
So there was a big jump prior to that. That was this 3% interest rate, right? And values were popping pretty quickly. I don't think you're going to see that number increase at double digits. I'm talking 2 years, 12 months, 2 years. But we're in a 5 to 10 year inventory crunch.
That's okay. So let's use that.
I agree with you with that.
Let's use that as a gateway. I'll throw it to Maggie Gunnels. 8 to 1,200 new jobs, Amazon, and $11 billion.
Right.
UVA's already said biotech school is 2,000 to 3,000 new people moving here with 6-figure jobs.
Crazy.
2,000 to 3,000. Data science, 2,000 to 3,000 new people moving here with 6-figure jobs, and UVA is going to expand enrollment and hire more professors. With what you're saying, Keith, inventory crunch, no new construction coming, plus maybe 8,000 to 10,000 people moving here in the next 4 to 5 years?
It really depends on what really happens with the 30-year.
You're talking interest rates.
But my data proves otherwise, right?
But these people need somewhere to live.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
I totally get what you're saying, because I really do think that at the end of the day, a lot of where even though there is a lot of cash in the market and things like that, there are a huge portion of the market is financed. And I have had the pains that I hear from people right now regarding their monthly payments. It's like, I could do more, but I can't. I really can't. This is my tap out, monthly payment. And so I do think that is going to, even though we're talking, pretty well paying jobs, it's still going to be an issue. I think just the monthly payment is going to exceed a lot of people's ability to pay.
What do you think of this comment from Yancey, who's watching in Waynesboro? The lake, meaning Lake Monticello, and Louisa have similarities. Infrastructure is woefully inadequate.
Yes.
There's one grocery store in Louisa proper. The schools won't handle the mass influx. The water and sewer are antiquated. People making 6-figure jobs are not going to shop at the Food Lion. You buy that? Buy or sell on that.
And maybe the multiple 6-figure...
I agree with that, though, too.
Maybe the multiple, if there's 2 people living in a house making 6 figures, they don't send their kids to public schools.
Yeah, oftentimes they do go to Charlottesville schools, which is that's a whole other topic. But I get so frustrated because Fluvanna County sports, it's really frustrating. They get picked and they go to, SACA or however you say it.
SACA,
they
you're
leave,
right.
Or they go to Alliance, or we have some amazing players in our county. And I'm just totally going on a tangent regarding travel soccer. But they leave the county and then they go to Albemarle, and it's so frustrating because we could field 2 amazing soccer teams, but we don't because of that.
We also don't.
Christelle is giving Maggie Gunnels some prompts.
Christelle knows my pains. She knows my pains.
Dropping knowledge and insight, Maggie Gunnels. Love hearing her views on the market when we talk all the time.
She's my girl, honestly.
She's giving you some props right now.
She knows my pains with the travel soccer. Her daughter, Bella, is like the best. I can't say it because somebody's going to come from Albemarle and say, come bring your kid. But her daughter really is incredible goalie. But anyways, yes, Fluvanna County loses to Albemarle County for private schools, which is what I did with my kids until I, got some sense to me.
Are they they're not, your oldest is not in high school yet?
No. She's in 4th grade.
I was going to say,
Could be. She's Taylor Swift.
Maybe she got a high school attitude?
Oh my gosh.
She got the tude?
It's starting, it's a little bit. I'm like, I look at her and I mean, she's literally me reincarnated. So I can only like, it does, it's hard dealing with yourself as a small person.
I see that with our oldest too. Keith Smith, jump in.
So I was just taking a look while you guys were chatting at Spring Creek. So these are just quick numbers. Year-to-date, single-family detached, no new construction. We're at a median sales price of $665.
Whoa, that blows my mind.
I need to double check that while you guys keep on talking because I did it pretty quickly.
That's crazy.
And I took so there was only 31 sold.
Right.
I took a look at same time period in 2022. Right. So January 1 until today, and that number was 670. I haven't had a chance to do the percentage difference, but while you guys discuss that, I'm just going to double check these numbers to make sure they're right.
So I just got a past client of mine reached out, and she's got this awesome house that we're going to sell at the lake. And I remember I texted you about Rivanna Village.
Oh yeah.
She really likes Rivanna Village or Spring Creek, and she has a decent budget. I mean, I've always considered. I need to look at my notes, but I think we're like $450 to $500 for budget, which is not it, but it's not now. It's becoming not.
455 is almost becoming entry point.
I know.
Especially Albemarle County.
Yes,
I know.
And I know it hurts her soul too a little bit because she's been chatting about moving for years. And it's kind of like, oh man, I should have, could have, would have.
This is what we talked about. Can I talk about Rivanna Village?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool?
Absolutely.
So Rivanna Village, Keith, you know that neighborhood well.
I do.
It's right outside Glenmore. I reached out on behalf of our esteemed guest here, Maggie Gunnels, about Rivanna Village. And the response was Ryan Homes, right now the only builder in Rivanna Village, and they're many months away from going vertical. And didn't you sell the first resale?
I did.
And Maggie,
good memory.
Yes, I remember you saying this a while ago. She did the first resale in Rivanna Village. Rivanna Village is beautiful.
It is.
So that
beautiful.
in Colonial Circle, which is Stanley Martin Homes.
Yes.
What you're seeing these bigger builders doing is they're hitting the pause button a little bit, right? So what they're trying to do is let finish the development side of things. Most of them can afford the extra interest rate, what the Fed is doing. They're either doing it in cash, most of them are, in that end of it, and they're waiting for the 30-year to tick down a little bit so they can. So you're going to not see those units hit the market probably into 2024, end of first quarter of 2024.
I think yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No. First quarter of 2025. So I double checked my numbers. They're right. Year-to-date, Spring Creek, median sales price, $665, 31 sold. Same time period last year was 570,000. Interesting number. This year-to-date, out of the 31, only 8 were cash. I expected to see a bigger number than that.
8 out of 31, you said, in Spring Creek were cash.
I expected to see a much higher number.
I did too, actually.
So that means there's 23 people that bought at pretty high interest rates.
Yeah.
They actually bought at 665.
They're not that high. Of
historically.
Rates. Historically.
Well, let me rephrase that. Compared to 3%.
Yeah, compared to 2 or 3% or 4% or 5%.
Historically, they're right about at average. Since 1972, the average is.
Where are we at with the 30-year fix? I'll look that up.
I think it's 718.
Yeah.
718. Something like that.
Okay. So, I mean, the folks that are moving here, yeah, you guys are right. The folks that are moving here are going to need somewhere to live. That's why I think they're going to drive values for these houses.
Yeah.
And I think Spring Creek is right in the eye of the storm. I mean, if you think about Spring Creek, it's on the interstate. It's got a gated community. It's got a golf course, a fantastic clubhouse, pickleball, pool, tennis. It's got the Zion's Center, shopping center, a Lowe's, a Walmart, El Mariachi. We love you, Johnny Ornalis. It's what, 40 minutes from Richmond?
Yeah.
40 from Richmond?
And if you're speeding, a hair shorter.
I mean, and do you speed?
So let's talk.
Once in a while.
I got a heavy foot. You got a heavy foot. I got a heavy foot. Judah's got a heavy foot.
I got a heavy cruise
control.
Judah
has a heavy foot?
Judah has a heavy foot.
What?
So let's talk about the difference on sales numbers, just so to get this out there, between Lake Monticello and Fluvanna County. Fluvanna County itself, exclusive of Lake Monticello,
Are the numbers worse?
It's actually, well, it depends on how you look at it. The median sales price is 400, so it's 50 grand higher.
Yes, not surprised.
Right, but it's interesting. The unit count of sold is not that far off from Lake Monticello. There's 44. Now this is third quarter, right? I'm just looking at this third quarter, which ain't quite finished yet.
Right.
On it, so these numbers may grow 5 or 10 units or something like that somewhere between now and the end of the quarter.
Right.
To sell on that, but right now, basically it's 10 units less than Lake Monticello at 400 grand.
Right.
Median sales price.
So how many houses are outside of the lake in the county? Why do I not know that number offhand?
Well, Jerry can do this because he's smart. Lake,
you guys are all smart.
This is math. So Smith can't do it with our spreadsheet. Lake Monticello represents 44% of the county.
Right.
So if you have Lake Monticello at 4,300 homes, you could do the math out that way. It's roughly 10,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Rooftops.
A little over maybe.
Rooftops. So it's roughly 10,000 rooftops, plus or minus a few hundred.
So there's less sales, but equivalent, if not a little bit more houses.
There's more volume. But not by much though.
Oh, there was more volume outside the lake.
Number of rooftops.
Oh,
so Lake Monticello's 44 of the 10 grand.
Right. A little bit less, yes.
The county has a little bit more than that.
Right. Yeah, yes. The county market's always been a little bit more expensive than the lake.
Well, so my friend Woody Fincham would correct me on this. The difference with the using a median number in the county is it doesn't factor out large properties, right? Mm-hmm. So the larger the acreage, usually it's more expensive, right?
Right.
So the reason I always use Lake Monticello as a litmus test of the market, because the lots are all about the same, right? You have different values from waterfront and Lake Monticello, but by and far, it's kind of a homogeneous area as far as product goes. Yes. So it's an easy way to track where the market is going or not going. It's one of the reasons I like using it.
How about this question?
I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
You do know what you're talking about.
It's so true. It is a very
the pink shirt.
It looks great on you, Keith. This is from Grayson, who's watching right down the street. He says, Keith and Maggie, why are the rest of the lots not selling in Lake Monticello if there's such an inventory shortage?
Great question. The lots, like the unimproved lots?
The undeveloped lots is what he's referencing.
I don't think there's many on market.
What would you say? How many are?
But if they are, there's issues with them.
Is that the problem?
Yes.
Yeah. So they've been
the topography.
I built 600 houses.
Potentially, likely.
I built 600 houses there, so I kind of know the lots pretty well. Whatever's left over is
left over.
So as a rule of thumb, and I bet you can take a look at any subdivision. This has been a developer 101 kind of thing. As a rule of thumb, there's usually between 5 to 10% of the lots that never really get built on in a project. Right. For whatever number of reasons. They're in a bad location, topographical layouts, it's too expensive to build on, infrastructure's not there, yada, yada, yada. And that's where we're at. I would say, Grayson, and I keep a close eye on what's available, not for sale, just what's available. There's not much more than 100 lots that you can build on there.
And it's not like it's
super expensive to build on, by the way.
And they're privately owned lots. It's not something where like a developer owns the last 100 that we're waiting to build on them, like you might see in a Rivanna Village or a community or a Spring Creek, something like that. These are privately owned lots.
Because the developer in the 70s handed everything over to the association.
Oh, interesting. Is that why? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You should tell that story, Keith. You've told it before.
Yeah. So the developer, which was a Faulkner, right, handed it over, 69. Camille came through, and the story is it filled the lake up. Is it true or not is a different story.
Right.
But somewhere in the mid-70s, they handed over it, which is very unusual, right? Most developers always want to retain ownership as long as possible so they can adjust CNRs, conference restrictions. It was also the 70s. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about the 70s, it was the 70s. And the developer didn't want the responsibility and handed it over to the association. The problem is, in order to change anything over there, and we went through this just recently with this board of directors trying to get removed, it is extremely difficult to do anything there because they're so old and they're not pliable, and it takes a huge percentage of our ownerships
to vote on
something on it. Yeah.
Right. So it's like it becomes a campaign of something.
I would say if there was only one little drawback, and this is a geeky thing, of Lake Monticello, is it's CNRs and it's HOA.
Covenants and restrictions.
Thank you.
Right.
And it's HOA document. It is so antiquated. It has not kept up with the times.
For example, what do you think? Just
Morgan Settle giving Maggie Gunnels props.
who is it?
Morgan Settle.
Hi, Morgan.
But what was your question? I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Well, for example, where do you think that we could improve our antiquatedness at the lake?
So the way it's set up, in order to change it, it requires substantially. It requires usually 2/3 vote.
Right.
And
it's huge.
That's huge,
Yeah.
right? We just went through the attempt of removal of a board of director, which, by the way,
Right. It was close.
unbelievable. Could
It
you
was like
imagine?
100 votes, I think.
184 votes
Yeah.
short.
Right. Right.
So they had to bring in
Very
50% plus one in order to do that. So that's 50% of 45.
Right.
4,500.
I would
That's a
I would
huge
have
amount
I
of
would
people
have
that
bet him a
voted.
bottle of bourbon that you couldn't get 50% of Lake Monticello to decide tomorrow's Tuesday. Nevertheless, vote on it. But they're antiquated. They can't raise dues, right? It's so hard to raise
Yes,
dues.
they have to do it in a very small amount.
Well, they can't because they have to do it. So what they're doing, instead of raising dues, they're increasing fees.
Right.
So
And-
so it requires such a large.
You're
hurdle.
talking assessments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the dues.
Yeah, the HO. Because
I don't want to wonk you out on that.
No, I was so curious. I think that the dues are so
Low.
cheap. Yes, compared to other HOAs.
What's the monthly dues like?
What are we at? Like $92 a month?
That
I
is
mean,
cheap.
it's like nothing. You get beaches, you get
It's cheap.
trash, you get a police department, you get recycling, you get
I think
tennis
Glenmore
courts.
is divided by 3. We're basically the same, like 95. That is cheap. I think that's very cheap.
Yeah, absolutely, because we have more amenities.
You do.
And
You do.
and we.
I mean,
do-
because you guys, does that fund the police?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the
In-
police department alone.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we do, like, going to the pool is an additional fee. But I think I paid like less than $100 for a bunch of passes, and never mind. I was
so
at the
that's
pool every
why-
day with swim team, anyways.
That's why, Maggie, it took so long to rebuild the pro shop and the clubhouse and all
Yes.
the amenities, because they could never get the votes. They
Right.
finally got the votes.
It was years.
It was decades
Yeah.
to go ahead and get the votes, to spend the money to go ahead and do that. So it's things like that should be tweaked a little bit
Right.
on it. Some people that live at the lake probably would not like to hear that
Right.
on it.
It should be. I do. I wish it weren't like that, actually. But
the pro shop was so unsafe you couldn't stand in it. You ever been in it?
Yeah, I remember the old one.
No, we used to remember how it used to move when you were up inside.
I kind
of
of
it?
miss that old building.
I don't miss it
Remember that
moving.
old bar in the clubhouse down on the lower level?
Sally Matson asked this question. When does the panel think the lake is going to start turning over? Is it aging out the homeowners?
Yes.
It already has been.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
been the case that's definitely been a trend for the last several years. I remember when we first moved to the lake, but the majority really were retirees. And now that's changed. Now the majority is young families. I mean, goodness, I was at the pool a bunch this summer, and I used to think I knew everybody, and I guess I didn't realize I was the youngest one there. And now I see this whole generation of, late 20s, these new families, that sometimes they grew up in the county and they stayed and they're raising their families there. There's some of that, and then there's a lot of people that come in from outside of the area, and a lot of people that are definitely younger than me, with younger children moving into the area. So I think we're like 60-ish% young families and
So
retirees.
We're tracking the national averages.
Of what a community's demographics
We're
looks
tracking
like.
the national average.
Interesting.
I've said this on the show a bunch of times, I'm a boomer. That means I'm old. We're about 60
No.
million nationwide of
Okay.
us. We are getting smaller every year because of the inevitable. But the millennials and the
Keith, that's never going to happen to you.
Can I just say...
You're gonna live forever.
I've been wanting to say this actually all morning because I just won't forget it. I went to a Realtor meeting maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And there were people that have been in the industry for
Forever.
forever and ever. So we're all in this space. And everybody, you can just kind of see post-COVID, And Keith walks in, and it's like he's like a movie star. I'm like, he's so good looking. He looks so great.
Right, I love it.
I mean, he really does. And it was just like
So
so
the Mets are doing really
apparent
good
at
this
that.
year.
Real
You
talk
don't know
with
what I'm
Keith
talking
Smith.
about. He walked in. I was like, gosh, he looks great. I mean, you really do.
Well, thank
so-
you,
Yeah.
but we need to move on.
I second that, Keith Smith.
We need to move on.
It's so true.
You're embarrassing me. I'm Catholic. I don't take this stuff very well. So,
Me too.
so 170 million folks are these Gen Zs and millennials, and they are coming into the market at a rapid rate.
Yes. Now,
Rapid rate.
What are we? Are we?
We are millennials.
Millennials.
You're
Yeah.
older millennials. So millennials are broken up into two categories.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry to say that.
Yeah.
You're
That's
the
true.
older millennials.
The older ones.
But Gen Zs are coming in a huge thing. These are the folks that are before the millennials, and then there's a Gen A out there that I was reading about that's starting to come into the market, which is something new.
This is Gen A.
Gen
Do you have the
A,
generation
Can't keep
chart
up.
that you can put on screen?
but no, this is
Generation
new. I read an article about it last night. About it. There's this new generation out there.
Oh, they're the ones succeeding Gen Zers.
Yeah.
They're early 2010 starting births.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got a generational chart on screen for the viewers and listeners to
But
see.
that doesn't include Gen A in it, though. Does
Does that include Gen A in there?
Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
it really?
Oh,
Gen A.
interesting.
So
How do they
Gen
come up with these
Ayers
names?
are the oldest Gen Ayers are 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're going through college,
Yeah.
or
The-
getting to the back end of
my
college.
niece, maybe my niece
They're
and
getting
nephew.
ready to get these six-figure jobs.
Right.
The oldest Gen Ayers are now are graduating from college, and as Keith said,
Yes.
have high six figures, and the Gen Ayers are going to enter the housing market
But the-
with what Keith is saying,
But the
six-figure
pool,
salaries.
but the pool is very small.
Yeah, well, I mean, because a
So
lot
we're
of them
going
are
back
college
down.
age or younger.
So we're going. No. The number of them is much smaller.
Gotcha,
Right.
gotcha.
So this Gen Z and this millennials, this huge cohort of 170 million. I don't know what Gen A is right at this point, but that's everything I've read. They're much smaller. So to your point, that's why Lake Monticello is doing what it's doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm aging out.
Well, how about her follow-up question to this? Is Lake Monticello even seen as a starter home community anymore like it
Yes,
once was?
It is. It definitely still is because we still see that 250 price point. So I would say generally compared to like Charlottesville or Albemarle County, absolutely, it's more affordable. But it is becoming not affordable. Where it's hard to find something for $350 that's decent. I mean, really, that is a struggle. We have several buyers in that price point right now that we just can't seem to find something that's like fundamentally nice, or that just isn't. So there's tough to find quality inventory.
So
Out there.
the question becomes, what is affordable?
Yeah, it's.
So
I don't-
what is that number?
So here's the question: is what is the starter home price?
I think it really
Right, I
is
think that's-
around $300 to $350. 250s. I mean, we have seen it. I have seen it. You can even see stuff under 200 right now. There is stuff out there. We have a lot of people that have
But-
been looking in Waynesboro and Stanton
So we're
because
talking
that's
about-
been the move over
So
place
that
for them.
so that's
or
100%.
Lynchburg.
Or Buckingham.
Or we had
Or
You should tell your Buckingham story.
Yes, Chris Rababi, an agent on my team, is amazing, and he just put 2 properties under contract. One was priced for sale at $750,000 in New Canton, I think New Canton in Buckingham.
That's bananas.
Multiple offers on this house. Multiple offers.
Good job, Chris.
Good job, Chris.
But
And he
it's-
secured it. He did. He ratified that contract. It was
But,
competitive and in a
That's not affordable.
that is not affordable, and that is in a market that is very remote. Now, some people go to that market for the remoteness, and likely there is some draw to that location for some people. But that is a huge. I mean, the house had an in-ground gorgeous pool. I mean, it's stunning. It was
Was it
spectacular.
serious acreage?
It was no. I mean, I'm not serious. 20-ish acres, 22
That's
acres.
enough.
It's enough, but I mean, I'm not talking
It's
100
not a
acres.
farm.
No, it's not. It's not
Yeah.
100 acres.
Yeah.
It's not something that I think could even put into. Maybe you could put it into land use or something in some. I don't know. It's
So-
not. It's not a huge parcel. I
So
don't think.
I know this because as the chair of the Piedmont Community Land Trust, in order to hit between 60 to 80% of the area median income, which is what, Jerry?
123,300,
Wait.
according to HUD.
That's the average?
Household income, according to HUD, the average is $123,300.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
Like
120.
So the
Did
good
that
news-
startle you? Are you surprised it's that high, or do you think that's what it is?
No, I'm not surprised because we do have so many good jobs here in the region.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I wonder how does that compare to Northern Virginia, like Loudoun County and Fairfax.
I can
but-
tell you
See if
that.
I can
'cause
find
I've
you that.
Gotta be similar.
He's got the links, I got the link. But in order to hit 60 to 80% of that,
Right.
at today's interest rates, the sales price can't be over 225, 215,
Right.
225.
So that's really where.
So you only have one at Lake Monticello that meets that criteria.
And I need to pull that listing up. I
Well,
want
I'm
to look
looking at it
listing.
right now, and oh, sorry, I apologize. That's pending. Let me try this again. I didn't do active. You have none, actually.
I was going to say,
You have
what
none.
is
You have none.
for sale?
You have none.
We've got
379 is the cheapest.
we have a buyer right now another buyer right now whose house we sold several years ago, and she wanted to go into a rental property because she wanted less responsibility, and she's in her 80s, and she's been in this rental property for many, like maybe 5 years, and now she's kicking herself because she has to be under 210, I think is where we have to be, and I mean, we've been looking in Waynesboro. We've been looking in that part of the world because there are some smaller houses, like 1,000 square feet, something like that you can find over in that market. But ideally, she'd be at the lake. That's where she wants to be. That's where her friends are.
So I could put a little perspective of this 123,300 while Jerry's looking that up.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I was speaking at a CEO convention, and I was part of a panel with CEOs from Miami and different areas. Miami's sticking in the head right now. Miami's 98. 98,000.
Oh, wow.
That's
wow.
Miami. It's
Wow, so we're doing
98,000.
great.
Well,
And it's going to get higher.
see, it's a
gonna get
double-edged
higher.
sword, though, Maggie. Right? It's great because we got a lot of people coming in. For those of us who
For hot yoga.
for hot yoga. There
I
you
mean,
go.
all these media outlets keep calling. I mean, and I love it. You know, it's a catch-22. They keep calling Charlottesville in this area the best place to live in America.
Because it is.
I mean, that's why we live here.
Honestly, it is.
Right? That's why we all live here.
We have an amazing quality of life.
Amazing. I totally 1,000% agree with you.
Yes.
We just got called the fifth happiest place to live in America. Did
I'm
you
not-
guys see that?
I'm not
Yep.
surprised.
We got called the fifth happiest place to live in America.
I think it's all the marijuana.
We got called. Realtor magazine called it what? The number 2 place to retire in America.
Really?
Bloomberg
Yeah.
was 15.
Bloomberg said we were the 15th in 2022 in the entire United States for work remotely.
I mean, it's
15th.
It's because we've got great grocery stores. We have fantastic restaurants. There's plenty of athletic
Music, outdoors,
Music.
ACC,
Yes.
downtown mall,
It's not
restaurants.
It's the I know
breweries,
some
wineries.
right? People definitely complain about the traffic once in a while, but honestly, give me a break. Go to
Right.
Northern Virginia. Go to Richmond. Go anywhere else. We
It's
don't have
all
nearly
relative.
as many cars on the road.
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. But the catch-22 is
Great airport.
Great airport. That airport is legitimately my favorite airport.
Me too.
I mean, you can literally go. Judah and I have had to travel to New Jersey for work. I showed up to this airport 25 minutes before the
Where else
flight
can you do
Yeah.
that?
and
Yeah,
had no
nowhere.
problem getting on the flight.
Yeah, you park, walk right in through security.
Yeah,
Gone.
25 minutes before.
Yep,
I mean,
so easy.
she's 100% right. But the catch-22, I'll throw this to you, is the freaking country, if not like beyond, knows about us.
Yeah, I like the lead I was telling you about earlier today. So one of the other things that she and I were chatting about, she was like, she's from New Jersey originally. They moved here maybe 25 years ago, and we were chatting about how this region has really become a town for the elite, and for her that was not appealing. I've had a lot of people say that to me, that it's lost some of its charm.
Yeah.
So I've had my cousin and I will have this conversation a lot, and she's lived here almost her whole entire life. But also it's still just, for me personally, I just still love, I think it's, I
Washington-
can't imagine living anywhere else.
Same.
Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, DCVA metro area. So this
Right.
is that area.
Right.
15210.
Wow, we're really not far behind them at all.
No.
And Northern Virginia has some exceptionally well-paying jobs up there, and just such a deeper pool of jobs than
Right.
we do down here.
It was Outside Magazine listed Charlottesville as the 5th happiest place to live in the United States.
Yeah, well,
Outside Magazine.
I wonder if that's because, do we have a lot of entrepreneurs here? I know that there are a lot, I know we do have a lot of entrepreneurs,
There's so much
but
to do.
Yeah.
There's so much outdoor stuff to do.
Yeah.
The
Oh, right,
Richmond,
for that
the
magazine.
Richmond MSA which includes is 109,000. So
okay, so they're below us. I'm Richmond. Well, I prefer Charlottesville.
Same.
To Richmond.
Same.
No shade to Richmond. I just like Charlottesville.
Well, let me throw this to you. Do you think will you be expanding your footprint to the Richmond market?
I've thought about that. I think it depends on a lot of variables, but
Because the inventory is there.
There is definitely.
You don't think more so than
There's
here?
not. No, well, there's more.
We're dabbling in the Richmond market.
Is
and
it
Yvonne is becoming a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some work in
They're going to open a satellite office there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And by just her example alone, what was it? We lost 13 houses, and the one that we won, they just closed on it maybe 4 or 5 months ago, was one of 20 contracts. It is insane. They closed on it, and I had Woody do an appraisal on the house.
Yeah.
And they closed on it, and I think they're like 40 grand in equity just from
Just
the time
right
that they put
away.
it on the contract and to go do this. So let's put it in perspective. Buckingham.
Yeah.
You want to take a stab on what Buckingham's area median income is?
I
don't want to even be offensive.
75.
That's what I was actually going to.
Okay.
Well,
Just for the
that
heck
was
of
one
it.
of the numbers floating through.
I would not have
my
gotten
mind.
that right. I would have. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that. 75.
75,000. 100 to be exact.
What's Fluvanus?
Yes.
Well, Fluvanna is 123,300
Oh,
because
it's
we're part of the same MSA.
Oh, so it
Got it.
cools. Fluvanna. No, never mind. It's a mix. There's definitely.
Well, the reason it's that is, as you said, we're now the 60% folks working. Where do they work?
Right.
Charlottesville. Richmond. Right.
It's exactly where they work. Some
Or they
people,
work from home because we got Firefly, which is awesome.
Right.
Right.
And there's even some people that'll commute into Northern Virginia 1 or 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and then they come back.
We're just doing a couple of transactions at Lake Monticello that are ready to hit in a little while. People working in Richmond. It's a 45-minute drive.
Right.
Easy drive.
Yeah.
Right. Get on
Definitely.
64 and go. They're on this side of Richmond. They're on the Henrico side of Richmond. And, high six-figure jobs. And
Kevin Higgins and Kevin Yancey interacting on one of the 15 Facebook
can see
pages. This page is airing on. Kevin Higgins highlights Crozet, Greenwood, and Waynesboro, that corridor, as one that's going to explode. All three are within 15 minutes of each other and connected by a highway and an intrastate. What are your thoughts on Crozet, Greenwood, and Waynesboro there, Maggie Gunnels?
Absolutely. Crozet has always been, at my time at least, Crozet has always been a strong buyer pool, a strong pool for people. It's an adorable town. It's like Charlottesville but smaller. But yeah, Crozet's cute. I'm not at all surprised. It's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful in Crozet.
so I would encourage anybody that's interested in the Crozet market, go back on Real Talk with Keith Smith and take a look at the show we did with Denise, Jerry. And we had a bunch of data slides in there about the market over there, like similar we're doing with Lake Monticello. Waynesboro's, by the way, Waynesboro,
Oh, yeah, what is
Stanton, MSA is 92.
I was going to say, it's got to be, it's somewhere in between Buckingham and Charlottesville.
92,000.
So Crozet, we had a client, maybe a long, long time ago. She was the woman who started the Crozet Arts Festival.
Cool.
And she lived at Lake Monticello, and we sold her house. And she was just telling me that when she was a young woman, and goodness, I don't think she's with us anymore, it's, she was telling me that she just couldn't believe how Crozet was not that place that people. It was such a different place 50 years ago. It was not at all that huge draw. Had a completely different, vibe out there than it does today.
I think it was it Old Trail that drove the explosion
Yes.
in Crozet?
Yes.
No,
Well,
Craig
Builders, really,
Crozet
right?
was starting to grow before Old Trail really started picking up. It was always this really hip vibe, cool kind of place to go, and then it just kind of started growing. I mean, the area of it is just absolutely gorgeous, which kind of segues into Neil Williams' event tonight because
Very nicely done.
Look at that!
Keith Smith.
Look at that! Smith's learning.
job.
Only took 500 and some odd shows to figure this out. which is, if you are interested in housing in particular, or the, what's going to happen in Albemarle County, we have, I think a couple of contested elections, which is a good thing. So tonight at 7 o'clock, you can look on www.freeenterpriseforum.wordpress.com. Hopefully Jerry will get it out there. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. It's going to be the Enterprise Forum and NBC 29. I suspect you can Google it and find it.
Yeah.
But watch it and learn a little bit about your candidate.
Yeah.
Neil will do a great job.
Great idea.
You got Brad Rickel against Ann Malik in the Whitehall. TJ Fatally against B. Lepisto Kirtley in the Rivanna district. Mike Pruitt running unopposed in the Scottsville district. You have an opportunity to get to know all 5 candidates.
But
for
2 are
Albemarle
contested,
County.
which is huge.
2 of the 3 are contested. Greg Dorazio giving
Hi,
Maggie
Greg.
Gunnels some props here.
Saw him at the Fluvanna Chamber event. He's been doing really good things with the Fluvanna's. They're doing a new campaign on people coming to visit. So tourism campaign, excuse me. Couldn't figure out the word tourism. He's doing a tourism campaign for Fluvanna, so it's great.
He says thank you for the props right there.
Yes.
My friends, 11:30, and we want some closing thoughts over here. Maggie Gunnels, you are tailor-made for a talk show.
Aww.
She knows her stuff. She has a take. She's got a lot of takes. She very much enjoys the talk show. You do have a lot of takes, and you know your stuff. Some closing thoughts, anywhere you want to go.
And we now know she gets cranky.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I try and keep it in check. I just have so much fun when I come see you guys.
Same.
Every single time.
Same.
It's a blast. I forget that anybody else is watching, so that's the problem.
Which is great. It's a testament to the show. I often forget the same.
Then Jerry and I are doing our job.
That's
Yes.
exactly right.
It is so fun. It really is a highlight of my week and time and energy, all that good stuff. So call me for real estate.
Yeah, do a little real estate plug.
Yes, call myself or my team. We'd love to help you. We help buyers and sellers in the Central Virginia region, both rentals and buying and selling.
So not that I'm competitive, but if she doesn't pick up, call me. Couldn't pass that up.
Yeah,
Maggie.
I know. I almost said it too, but then I was like,
By the way, thank you for the kind words. You flattered me. Thank you for coming on, and you're always welcome.
Thank
you're always
you.
welcome in here. We're gonna do a little something different for in October, much like what Neil is doing. We're gonna have some elected official contested races come up here. So we're going to be talking housing. Some of them are going to be from Fluvanna County, so our home county. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how different candidates feel about housing, and as we can tell, at $350,000 is the median sales price at Lake Monticello, and the line is projecting up. That number is probably going to continue to go up, and we got to talk a little bit about housing and help other folks. So thank you, and thank you again, and enjoy your hot yoga today.
Oh, well, I love it. I'm getting my license. I think I said that. I love it.
For instruction?
For instruction.
Cool. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is very
No,
great.
I won't come.
You have to come. It's the best.
She's passionate about it.
It's so good for you. It's
You do not want to see Smith in yoga pants. Trust me.
You don't have to wear yoga pants.
It was a joke.
Wear just
It
shorts,
was just a
t-shirt.
joke.
Or you can get really, really spicy and take off your shirt.
Keith Smith.
Okay, nice show. See you later, guys.
Judah Wickhauer's got a chuckle out of that over there. Judah Wickhauer's our director. Keith
I don't
Smith.
think that was a chuckle. That was like, oh my God, I don't want to see that.
Judah needs to come.
Hey, Wednesday show. How about a plug?
Yeah, we got a couple of Carly Wagner's coming on. We're trying to also work on a 4th guest, so stand by on that. And we're excited. And then the big news on the show is on October 9th, we're going to have Woody Fincham sitting in your chair, and remotely, Dr. Lisa Steravant from Bright, who's the chief economist for Bright.
Chief economist.
This is a big get. I'm excited about it.
It's a huge get.
And we're going to find out if Smith really knows what the hell he's talking about, because she will tell me if I don't.
I'm really curious to hear what she has to say.
She is my favorite economist
Nice.
that I follow, hands down. She's a straight shooter if there ever was one. So.
Fantastic show.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Keith,
Thank you, sir.
very well done.
Thank
Today
you.
was a
Thank
lot
you
of
for
fun.
finishing my sentences, sir.
I will always do that.
He has that problem. I have that problem.
Always do that.
It's not a problem.
I think he secretly likes it.
No.
He secretly likes it.
he knows when I'm taking just a fraction of a second too long.
I jump in there.
He knows. Smith has not quite formed a sentence yet.
And I do that because you're my boy.
You care.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me in a meeting the other day. I came up with an idea and I threw it out, and I'll leave the name out of it. It's a pretty heavy hitter as part of UVA, and the person leans over to me and he goes, "That's the first time you heard that too." I said, "You know what? You're right. That's the first time I heard that thought." Because sometimes they just they pop in the head and just come on out. But thank you, Maggie, for coming on.
Thank you.
Jonathan Wright Jr. watching the program.
Hi, Jonathan.
Fantastic show. Much needed information. Great talk, guys.
Oh, I went to school with him.
Thank you for watching the program.
Go watch Neil Williamson tonight.
Neil Williamson tonight. Get to know the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. Guys, Keith Smith, Maggie Gunnels, Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller. Real Talk with Keith Smith, archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. The I Love CVille show up in 59 minutes. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Maggie.
Awesome.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
Every
Is he gonna
time.
tell us
That buzzed past pretty quickly,
cameras
didn't it?
are off?